What's going on, everyone, and welcome back to my newest episode in my series about gaining SR in Overwatch. Today we'll be talking about a slightly sensitive subject about where do you belong in the rankings. Essentially, evaluating your own skill is the key to the self-improvement of your rank and helps you understand where exactly you need to improve. First up is knowing how good you really are. This is a pretty complex question, but it comes down to one thing, like how good are you at the game? I'm going to use me as an example because it's easier. I can comfortably play 20 of the 25 characters, which makes me extremely flexible when it comes to helping the team. So while my best heroes might be Zarya, Roadhog, Tracer, Soldier and McCree, it means when I have to or feel I need to, I can choose from a multitude of options to help the team out. If you're sitting at Platinum and you can only play 2 or 3 characters well, you're going to have real problems climbing rank. It's just a fact. The more characters you feel comfortable playing to a high standard, the better you are at the game, and that is really the bread and butter of climbing SR. Number 2 is your SR history. This one might touch a few nerves, but remember, I am making these videos to try and help those struggling with the grind. This one comes down to expectations. If you've played 3 seasons in Overwatch, and your career high is like, 3,100 or something, what makes you think that you actually deserve to be any higher than that in the current season? Thinking that you're better than you are is a key mistake to climbing SR, as it's more likely to make you tilt, or make you unwittingly become a detriment to your team by not being modest enough. Aiming high is great and necessary, but evaluating the SR first that you deserve to be is important in order to keep you humble. Number 3 is when do you start to struggle. In this section we'll be talking about purely your solo queue experiences, as playing with a regular team makes the climb through ranks far easier, especially rather than playing with randomers. MMR is Overwatch's hidden ranking system, inspired by the similar ELO system that was created for chess and has been used by other video games for years now. It essentially determines who you match up against when playing competitive, no matter what your SR ranking is, to a point. The going theory is, although I couldn't find confirmation anywhere, is that it goes off base comparisons like kill-death ratio and win-loss ratio. My Smurf account is currently at 3,350 and has peaked this season at around 3,600. But despite this relatively low SR rating, it matches up with top 500s and Grandmasters all the time when I'm solo queuing, because my base skill level is very high no matter what my SR actually says. That's a long explanation, I'm sorry about that, but it was quite important for this little section. If you have trouble winning games consistently, and maybe even lose more games than you do win in, say, Diamond tier, for instance, you don't, at this time, deserve to be any higher based on your skill level. That's not to say you won't get above it, obviously, but it will take time, major time, and as such you'll start to improve as you spend more time grinding. And eventually you will deserve to be Masters or even Grandmasters. That's the great thing about Overwatch's competitive ranking system, it will reward you as you start to get naturally better. Essentially, just have a little think about what ranks you have trouble playing against, and that will be where you realise you need to be at that time. Number 4 is accept that everyone is better at something than you. This is possibly the most important part of this video. No matter how good you get at Overwatch, you won't ever be the best at everything, and that's perfectly fine. I wouldn't have it any other way. Again, just because it's easy, I'll use myself as an example. I went into competitive the other day and found myself in a game full of top 500s. Bearing in mind at this point I was around 3,800 SR, and to be in top 500 this season on console you basically need to be Grandmaster. Now I could have insta-locked Roadhog or Zarya or whoever and probably done fine, but instead I sat there and let the top 500s in my game pick whoever they wanted to play, and then I filled around them. I ended up picking Zenyatta and played out of my skin for the entire game, and we absolutely ruined the opposite team. What this little story should tell you is that no matter who you're best with personally, sometimes you are better off just accepting that someone else might do a better job than you. If you play with someone who can easily accumulate 3 or even 4 gold medals when playing a DPS or a tank, if you're forcing them to play heals just to fill a team, it's actually handicapping yourself, which could be considered as a form of throwing when you actually think about it. Number 5, and last up for today, is know your limitations. Time equals quality. We all know this. No matter the natural skill that you possess at the start, the more time you invest into Overwatch, the better you'll get. When we think about that, if you're working 9 to 5 every day, making dinner, sitting down and maybe playing an hour or 2 and then heading to bed, and then maybe spending time doing other things at the weekend like hobbies, which is awesome. If you are, keep that shit up, that's great. But unfortunately that means there is only so good that you will get at Overwatch, or any other game, really. I play competitive for maybe 3 to 4 hours, 4 or 5 days a week. And that's a lot of time in total. So naturally I've got pretty good at Overwatch in general. The more time you spend playing, the more you learn about the maps, characters, and their counters, how to really be able to rotate through those characters to help your team, and how best to maximise your impact on the game. That is the last thing for today though. Hopefully it's been of some help, even if just a little bit. Accepting where you deserve to be based on your skill level really helps you nail down where you're supposed to be in the Overwatch ladder. And that's pretty key to starting your self-improvement journey and just generally increasing your skill overall. Anyway guys, as usual, like and subscribe if you haven't. Thanks again to those who already have, and I'll see you all next time. My name's been Dodge Gaming, you've all been awesome, and peace!